All right, Mr. Yadhu Krishnan, thank you so much for being here today. First of all, congratulations on your first premiere and upcoming screening of Crossfire.
Yeah,
how do you feel?
Excited and highly hopeful for the project, and hope it gets to connect with the audience, and hope they enjoy the movie. Yes.
We are here with Mr. Victor Chen. It's so good to have you.
Thank you.
A
fun.
friend of mine. I'm so excited. You're actually here in Dallas, Texas for the premiere of Crossfire.
That's right.
How do you feel?
It's great. First time in Dallas. I'm always excited to go to different cities. It's a lot of fun. I like the weather. I like just the environment. So I'm excited to be here.
Ms. Lori Pelenise, thank you so much for being here with us today. How do you feel?
I'm excited. It's an independent film, and I was just happy to be part of it.
Kevin Gage.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking the time out today, and congratulations on Crossfire. I would love to know how you actually got on board with the project.
Well, Yadhu Krishnan, he wrote a film called Escape from Blackwater, and we didn't meet there in India. That's where the movie was shot. But I can't remember if it was Krishnan that reached out to me or if it was Louis Mandylor. Mm-hmm. But one of the two. Louis Mandylor is a dear old friend of mine. I think it was Yadhu that just called me. Louis gave me my phone number, and I was in Santa Barbara, and he sent me the script and liked it a lot, and Louis was in it and liked Louis a lot, and found out a lot of the other crew that we were working with. I knew them, and the character that he wanted me to play, I liked that a lot, because I didn't have a lot of dialogue, and he was creepy, which, as you know, I like doing creepy characters. So that's how it all started.
Miss Samantha Wiechec, how'd you get introduced to the work?
So Louis Mandylor introduced me to Yadhu.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I got brought onto the project.
For this specific production, you came in as screenwriter and director.
Oh yes, I have been working as a writer. I have been assisting on various other features, web series, and I have been with filmmaking since the last 7 years. But this is like a heart and soul for me, because I have been trying to get myself engaged and learn this craft, like start from writing, directing, engaging in producing and distribution, and as well as marketing, everything, every aspect of filmmaking. So this is like something I wanted to really learn. So as with time, when I started learning, I find every aspect of filmmaking is different, and it highly excited me. So I kept doing it. Like the more I am into it, like it's a very good craft, and the whole process from initially having a vision to putting it down on papers, and then eventually trying it to bring on the screen and connect what vision you had and conveying it to the audience. That whole process, that's what brings me over, and highly passionate about this craft.
So how did you actually get on board with the project?
My talent manager from LA, she called me and said, there's a gentleman who wants to have you audition. And I was like, okay, cool, let's audition. And then I auditioned, and then he wanted me, and I was like, no way he wants me.
How would you describe your role? Was it more villain? Did we understand the villain?
Definitely villain.
Of course.
Definitely villain.
Will the audience catch a soft spot for the villain?
I don't think so.
You're that great.
Well, I really don't know. I haven't seen the film yet, and editing's everything. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's in and what's out. But if I had to guess, I'd say, well, they might. And I can't tell you why. I don't want to give away the film, but yeah, it's a possibility.
Tell us a little bit more about your character.
We meet her at a very confused, frustrated point in her life. We see this sort of issue that's playing out with her and her father, that's from previous undergoings of their family history.
You play the role of a very supportive neighbor, Marianne, to the detective. Mm-hmm. Can you give me a little bit information on the relationship you had right there?
Well, he helped a lot, because I lost my husband, my son, and he was just there to help rebuild my family business, where we took care of sick people, and he brought in his money and his love, and it was A good man. He's a good man. And then I felt I needed to help him reconnect with his daughter. So I was like, hey, bring your daughter out here and we'll try to build your relationship together. And he's like, oh, I don't know, Miriam. And I was like, just do it. I'll help you out.
Tell me a little bit about what you did to prepare off screen to get like this production across.
Totally. Definitely to prepare for this one, because the story is what I call like modern based. It's not fantasy. We're not doing like animation, you know, that kind of genre. So what I had in mind was first seeing what kind of story it is, what kind of characters there are, and also just what I feel looks good on camera for that type of story. So it's very realistic, you know, they're centered, grounded individuals. So I just automatically in my head picture what similar projects will look like. You try to modify around it because that's what's going to be realistic.
What do you feel like you had to really prepare for off screen for this role with Crossfire?
I think because Crossfire came around so quickly, we really just, it was spontaneous in its development. I don't think Alicia initially had as much fight scenes that we kind of embedded into the movie until we started like working through it.
Did you feel like you needed to prepare off screen a little differently, or you were very comfortable with it?
I'm just comfortable doing creepy guys. I don't have to do a lot of research.
Now, you decided to shoot in Mexico. How did you come up with that conclusion, and how was the experience for you?
Yes, so I was a writer for another movie, Escape from Blackwater, which is just coming by end of the year. So the director for that movie had a production house in Mexico. So we were like connected and we knew each other. And that's how I told him about this, my coming feature. So he invited me to see the facilities and the production house there. So when I did visit, and I felt like this is a professional team and I should work with them. So when we already knew each other, it was much more easier to connect, and that's what we started like.
Any memorable moments on set that you feel like you will never forget and maybe helped you grow in a different way?
When Samm was kicking booty at the nightclub, I wasn't supposed to be there, but I was in the background watching, and she was just kicking butt, and I was like, wow, look at this young girl go. I was like, oh, I wish I was in this scene so I could fight with her. But I was like, Lori, this is not your scene. It's like, okay.
I think it was just fun too. We stayed in Rosarito, Mexico, and we stayed in this apartment complex, and everybody had different apartments. And it was really an array of like people coming in and out throughout the day and night, and we would do different fight scene choreographies. We would get together and work out, and it became a nice environment for everyone.
So on set, usually with action-filled productions, not everything goes as planned. Do you remember?
Never. Never.
Was there any moment or incident during production that just was, you guys just had to take over and be like, okay, we're never going to forget this?
Actually, for me on this one, I did not have, there were not too many field adjustments that I had to worry about.
We had a lot of issues, like if bringing films to big screen, especially theatrical release right now, it's a very time-taking task, and a lot of efforts has to be put. So yes, and same like any filmmaker who goes through a struggle to make that to the final big screen. I would suggest like most of the interviews what I did, they do ask me this one short clip which went viral in internet, and that's what me crashing a car.
Right.
So that basically came because we had to finish, as I said, in 12 days. We had this timeline, and I had to pre-shoot to get the stunt team out. So the team which was supposed to come from LA, they couldn't make it, and we had them on call. We took the safety protocols, and Victor was there on set to take care of the action and block the scene and everything. So we were pretty sure that we could do it, and it just I had the whole support from my team, so I just took the call and I did it myself. So that was a very never expected BTS footage what went with Crossfire. So yes, that's a fantastic thing, and I enjoyed doing it. Yes.
Was there any part of the project that kind of like was in relation to you, like of that character was in relation to you?
Yeah, there's a handful of father-daughter moments that I think we all kind of tap into at some point?
I went through some hard times myself and ended up in the women's home,
Okay.
and a family helped me out. It's weird because there was the young family. They helped me out and took me in, and I live with them now, and I have a job. So because I'm a character actor, there's not many roles for me. But when it comes along, I try my best.
Did you have one character that you feel like was really related personally to you in any sort of way, whether it was a story or incident?
Back in 2018, I did a short, and it was about a father-daughter relationship, and it had a whole cycle of a child being born to a father, a single dad, and being raised by him, and eventually at her teenage age, she leaves him and finds a boyfriend and moves on with life. And at some point in life, when she gets to know that she has been betrayed, the only reason to take her back to life is again her father. So that whole point of being born to a dad and being raised by him and eventually coming back to him, so that whole cycle of life I had showed in that shot. Maybe that at some point related to me as well, so I kind of made use to that, and with the present screenplay for Crossfire as well. So it's an elaborate version of that, maybe. Yeah, that what back of the mind I had.
So the storyline was very dynamic. It covered drug peddling, sex trafficking. Tell me your
Intense.
thoughts. It's intense. It's a strong,
Yes.
it's strong issues that we're really facing in the world today. You want to touch base on that a little bit?
I mean, I think with those type of topics, where they are very realistic, newsworthy, anything that has, drugs or sex related, it catches your eye.
Yeah.
So I think what's cool about Crossfire is that it brings some of the realism in for a film too, right?
Of
So
course.
it's not documentary, but you bring some of those elements in, and it makes people think, oh, they might relate to that, or they might have come across something like that, or they saw something from the news. So I like stories that are like that. They're, in a sense, not relatable to me, maybe personally, but you can understand the trauma that comes from it, and it brings out the different characters. That's why, even from behind the scenes watching, when a character is coming to life, you're like, oh wow, and so I really enjoy that part a lot too. I think when people watch it, hopefully they'll see there's those elements that come from it.
As ugly as it is, it's something that people should be aware of, and hopefully one day that doesn't happen anymore.
I hope always to give a social message as well in my movies. So, and especially with action genre, action is what I love basically to film and to do. So that helps me. Like it's a sweet blend,
What do you think actually makes a really successful movie? Is it environment? Is it?
There are so many factors. I was going to say in my opinion, but it's not an opinion, it's a fact. It's everything from development, the script, all of the behind the scenes stuff, the crew, all of the magic has to come together to make a really great film. And I think you can have the best script, the best directors, you can have the best actors, best editors, the best crew, but if it all doesn't come together, it's kind of like making a cake, I think. Everything has to be perfectly layered. Yeah. It's tough to make really, really good films. And I like most films, but ones that stand out, the magic just has to be there with everybody collaborating.
We were all like a family on set, so that was pretty cool. And maybe because we were like a family, that will make it successful, because we were together a lot. We got up in the morning. Sam was doing calisthenics with the camera guy.
It's a collective. It's an array of everybody coming together. It's not one person.
Of course, of course.
And then it's listening and then building off each other.
It's putting everything together. Anything
Yeah.
successful, it doesn't have to be a movie, it could be anything, right? You got to have, like I said, the vision. You have to really want to do that. You got to be a little crazy doing it, especially in this kind of world. And once you're a little bit crazy, I think that keeps you motivated, right? You don't want to quit. And I think those four things together really can make a small little project or a large project a success or a failure. It's really having to jump right into the waters. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for
and
chatting with
it
me.
up with me.
It's good
Thank
fun.
you so much.
Thanks so
Mr.
much.
Chen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, hon.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you again, how do you feel?
Oh, excited right at the moment, and looking forward for Crossfire premiere and then the worldwide release, and the people enjoying it. And yes, it's a great time, you know.
Well, we're wishing you all the success with
Yes,
this
thank
and
you,
the
thank you.
future
Thank you so
projects.
much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.